love to have guests on the show, and we certainly do have a good one today. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Larry from WagerWeb, and also my co-host, Kyle Purviance. We are here with SportsBookReview.com, and before we get going today, thank you guys once again. 69,600 people have hit that button to subscribe, turned on their notifications, and came in here to the chat box to say hello. Sean, what's up? The sports group, everybody in here. We're going to have a great show, but it's time to kick it off. Larry, before we bring you in, Kyle, it's week 4. Hey, lines are open, buddy.
Lines are open. We're ready to rock. A little bit of apprehensive news this morning. We're waiting to see how that all folds out, but you know, you start going through, you see a couple of games that look like college football lines, you know, in Baltimore and Washington and LA and the Giants. And I would be remiss if I didn't kick off the show by wishing a very happy birthday to our wonderful host, Donnie. You look wonderful. Tell everyone in the chat box, tell him how good he looks for 83. He looks amazing for 83 years old. So a big happy birthday to you. But no, I'm excited for week 4. It was a fun night last night. 15,000 people ended up watching that show already? Right. Absolutely incredible. So a big thank you to all of you, and thank you to the guys behind the scenes. And I'm really excited to have Larry on, get the odds maker's perspective, which is something we're both excited to have on the show.
Yep, our newest friend of the show here, Larry from WagerWeb. Larry, welcome into the show. We got a lot of stuff to go over, some interesting things. But before we do that, introduce yourself to the good people here in the chat box.
Hey, guys, I really appreciate the time. It's a pleasure being with you. I'm a rookie at this, so be kind to me today. But, yeah, I'm a sales manager here at WagerWeb.eu. Been with them now about 12 years and happy to take care of my customers. We got some great bonuses here available to all customers, whether new or old, anywhere from 10% to 100% cash. So, guys, I'm ready to help you guys out in any way I can.
You know what's great about this, Larry? You've been on for 1 minute, and you're already better than my co-host Kyle Purviance over there. So,
that's how you
kudos.
Go,
We always like to have some fun on the show, but it's great to have you on here. Of course, guys, if you haven't done so yet, check out WagerWeb. We'll get into some of the promos before Larry gets out of here, but some fun stuff from over the weekend. We always like to get the book's perspective because me and Kyle will argue all week long, and we'll have other guests on to break down games, but we always like a perspective from the opposite side of the counter for what's going on. Just looking overall at Sunday, you know, seeing some of the numbers coming in, there were some big wins and obviously some big losses out there. But even if you want to talk about last Monday night, which was yesterday, I got to admit, I was wrong. I was on the Baltimore Ravens, but I could expect probably a huge handle on that game. And everybody hung on to the last seconds to see if that total was going to come in, Larry, because we opened it around 52 offshore. We ended around that 55 range, and there it was last night. The odds makers had it right. What did you see last night, and what were you guys looking at there, Larry?
Well, thank God for the missed extra point and field goal.
Yes.
That helped a lot. But, man, anytime you see the Chiefs as an underdog, just one of those things, man. It was a tough night. I didn't sleep very well last night either. It was a tough night. Thank God that it stayed under. But, man, the Chiefs were just so dominant. And hopefully we don't see the Chiefs as a dog anymore for the rest of the season, man.
I mean, it was pretty crazy. I mean, we watched the game live, Kyle and myself, and, you know, Kyle had the right side of it there with Kansas City because, you know, the people out there watching, even if you're just a general football fan, you scratch and say, wait a second here. I'm going to get Patrick Mahomes at over a field goal. Sign me up for that. And I'll say, you know, I thought Baltimore would come out, be ready to go and really stamp their mark on this game and be physical. But you saw Patrick Mahomes, the touchdown to McCole Hardman before the half, on his back foot, 50-yard laser down the field, and you shake your head and say, that pass is not only supposed to be a sack or maybe a turnover, definitely an incompletion, but a clear touchdown, Larry. It was amazing to watch last night, and I know from being on, again, that side of the counter, Patrick Mahomes, again, he's so hard to comprehend. Forget about covering. How do you even beat the guy, right?
You know, watching an underhand 1-yard pass to a fullback for a touchdown, he's taking that defense apart. And, you know, when we saw that line come out, you know, a lot of people were thinking, you know, Baltimore had a really good chance, and we had a lot of on the Baltimore side. But, man, at the end of the day, started with Green Bay on Sunday, a lot of action with Green Bay going into Sunday, and then, you know, Kansas City on Monday night. I mean, Sunday was really good until those last two games, and hey, that's part of the business. I mean, I'm serious. I hope we never see the Chiefs as a dog again, man, because, man, there's nothing to do to stop this guy. He's just I mean, they're two great quarterbacks right now in the NFL. Those are the two best, but one outshone the other last night.
Yeah, and that damn missed extra point. I'm glad it worked out for you, Larry, but it did not work out for me.
You have
54 and a half is where I was at. The over 54 and a half. So that mixed extra point made me look a little dumber than I normally do. I mean, which is,
thank God for that, man. It could have been a little bit worse than it was, but hey, got this week coming up, so let's see what happens.
No, you're exactly right. And even coming down right to the end, like we were saying, if maybe Big Red was going to kick that field goal at the end of the game, Mahomes ended up throwing a pass, and then you take a knee from the Baltimore Ravens. So the sweat began early in that game and continued right through the end. And I guess you could say that's the fun of gambling. But yes, some people need a lot of Tums and Pepto-Bismol by the time that those games end.
You would
but
not
week
believe the teasers on the Chiefs.
Tease it up over a touchdown. Where do you lose? And teasing the over. So it's a lot of good stuff to watch. And you brought up again that Sunday Night Football game, Packers and the Saints. I'm sure people were angling for that total on the over as well, 37-30 final in that one. But we got a big week 4 here coming up, Larry, especially, just looking over some of the early lines. And Kyle, I know you have an interesting question here because a lot of us were looking early on ESPN, some of the early reports online, maybe some COVID issues for the Tennessee Titans at the wrong time. 3-0 Tennessee Titans. This is the last time you want to have that, but go ahead, Colin, expound on, some of your thoughts on that.
Well, yeah, and we don't want to get Larry to commit too much because he's still got to figure out what's happening, right? It's early in the week, but and we sort of touched on this before the show, but when you have something like this happen, what's the typical thing that happens when you have games that, they're talking maybe it could move to Monday night? Right now, it looks like they're going to force them to play. It looks like Minnesota, no players have tested positive there. They're all fine on the Pittsburgh side. So it's just the 3 players from Tennessee and the 5 staff members. Neither one of those teams allowed to practice all week. They're not even allowed to go to their facility. So does that change things from an odds maker's perspective? What kind of stuff do you?
It's got to, like we were talking earlier. This is a first. We're not used to seeing these issues, but when you're looking at they're going to have one walkthrough before the game, I would think that odds makers are going to be saying, "What do we do here?" Because hey, it's tough. You got these players that aren't going to practice. They're going to have one walkthrough, and then go play on Sunday. So we're crossing our fingers. Like I told you guys earlier before, if they do set it for another date, then we know what's going to happen there. But right now, we're just hoping that that's just the only players that tested, and hopefully we get a good game out of them on Sunday. But I worry. I mean, look at all the injuries week 1 with no preseason games. That here are these guys that aren't going to be warmed up. They're just going to have one walkthrough, and then they got to go out there and play. So it's going to be a difficult thing for both those teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a battle of attrition out here. Even looking at, like, sometimes we get spoiled with good football games, what we think are going to be good football games, like Monday Night Football, Larry. And then we look ahead and say, you know what? I can't wait for NFL football. Who's on Thursday night? And you say, hey, by the way, it's the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets, Sam Darnold. And it looks like Brian Rippon's going to step in at quarterback. Correct. And now you see some of the lines changing. They're dropping lower. Talk about, and the angle I wanted to pursue here was sometimes teams are so bad, and from an odds maker's perspective is almost the line can't be too high for a bad team going up against a good team. But in this one, you have 2 bad teams coming into Thursday Night Football, which is already a sloppy game. Talk about maybe what you might be looking at between the Broncos and the Jets. I mean, you're still going to get a great betting handle because it's the NFL and it's Thursday night, but boy, oh boy, looking at that game.
Yeah, I think total was 40. It's the lowest total of all games in week 4. I think nowadays we're lucky, especially here, at WagerWeb. I've seen this happen a lot where you got a game like this, but then once the game starts, you got a large majority of players that are going to go into live betting platform. And they're going to be doing their live betting the whole game. They got their bet going, but they're going to go in there and live bet. And hopefully that overcompensates for the line that we had for the beginning of the game. And, that's a great revenue for us now, the live betting platform. And, in the past, players didn't have that choice. Nowadays, when you got a game like this, you're hoping that once the game starts, these guys go in there and start going wacky on all these lines are going to come up and down as the game is going on. So hopefully it helps out a little bit. But, yeah, that 40 total and the line, it's just crazy. And you got probably the worst team in the NFL right now. Sorry, Jet fans. And, a team starting a quarterback for the first time. I think his uncle was Ryan Ripken, if I'm not mistaken.
Mark Ripken, yes, from Washington.
So he's got a little of that quarterback blood in it, but it should be interesting. I don't know how the numbers are going to come in for Thursday night on this game, but hopefully it works out and live wagering helps out with this issue.
No, yeah, I mean, we don't go live on Thursday night. Thank goodness we don't. It's only Monday night, so usually we get a little bit better game. But, go ahead, Kyle, with the question that you have.
Oh, sorry. I was just kind of piggybacking off of that. We talked about this horrible game, right, on Thursday that's going to be tough to sort of get people attracted to. And I think being Thursday night certainly helps. But is there a game this weekend where you're like, okay, this is where everyone's playing this game this weekend? Is there one game where you expect more wagers than maybe some of the other games this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you what, this New England-Kansas City game, New England, where the line opened up and where the line is now, I mean, anytime in the past when you had New England, you had Brady, the money was always there. Now it's a little bit different, but I think after what Kansas City did last night, I'm seeing how the line moved on that New England game, and I think that's one of the games that's going to have a lot of action. And the other one that I think is going to have a lot of action too is, man, I don't know what it is, but these Packers, they're just attracting a lot of attention. You got the #1 offense in the NFL, and I think the line will definitely move a little bit more, but a lot of interest in the Packers and a lot of interest in the Chiefs already. It's only Tuesday, but right now that's what I'm basically seeing. And of course, Dallas always is going to have a lot of attention.
Right.
They have a must-win this weekend, playing Cleveland. So those three teams always attract a lot of attention. But, man, Kansas City, after that win yesterday, I think what everyone thinks is that they're not going to lose, and they most likely will cover for the rest of the year. So, but I think New England, Kansas City is a great game as far as, book side.
Larry, quick question on this. When we take a look at, betting into week 4s, we've seen a lot of scoring here in the NFL, particularly this year. Now, again, it might be some of the way that the refs are officiating, a lot less holding penalties, which is great because more offense means more fantasy. And obviously people like to take overs, but also the book is going to adjust. It wasn't so long ago that even if we talked like NBA where you had totals around 178, 180, and oh my goodness, did you see that total? It's 195. They're routinely in the 210s, 215s, 220 range. Right. Same thing in the NFL. I mean, we're looking at Monday Night Football right now, a 58 number, which a decade ago you'd say we'll never see this again in our lifetime. Might seem like a routine here. Talk about from your perspective here when you're looking to look at some of these lines, 52s, 50s, 47s. They're just routine numbers right now in the industry.
Yeah. And what happens there too is you see a lot of teasing with these totals like we did last week. And we'll look at Green Bay. I mean, that total, when you look, the lowest total for the week is 40, and then you're looking at 58 and a half on the other end. It's just a crazy first 3 weeks of NFL football going into the fourth. And I think, from my perspective, I usually don't deal so much with that, but I think a lot of it has to do with, man, no stadiums, 20% full stadiums. What are we going to do? How are we going to figure this out? And I think by the end of, maybe by the 8th or 9th game, we're going to see these totals going down a little bit. But right now, just like this Kansas City game, man, I was seeing teasers at 45 and 44, and I was saying, oh, my God, this is crazy. Something like Green Bay, I think their total for last week was very high also, and they're playing an Atlanta team that knows how to score, but they just don't know how to win. They don't know how to hold their when they're up 2 or 3 touchdowns. They don't know what to do, and they're running into #1 offense in the NFL. So hey, I assume that those points like that, but I'm sure my bosses and those guys up there in the big offices are probably going crazy right now with all these high totals.
I mean, fantastic stuff so far. I mean, this is the way we like to start off a Tuesday, getting some perspective from a bookmaking perspective. Both me and Kyle love this type of stuff. Larry, for your first, are you sure, Larry, this was your first time on the air? Because you seem like a seasoned professional.
Let me tell you something. I haven't slept for 2 days. I've been reading every type of article I can.
Oh, you did great.
In the meantime, trying to bring in new customers and get guys to deposit. So it's been tough. I love sports, so this is a great job for me. I'm not so much on the odds making side or handicapping, but I follow sports, so it's very simple to get involved and some things I do know, and if I don't know, I'll more or less tell you guys. Let's go to another question. But yeah, man, I love this business, and you know, I love looking at these lines move and trying to see what's going on, man. It's just great. I wish I could do it 24/7 and not have to worry about being a sales guy. But hey, sales first, odds second.
You got it, man. By the way, Larry, one more time before we get you out of here, tell the good people out there what they can find at WagerWeb, some good bonuses, some good play, obviously a quick, fast interface that you guys have. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about WagerWeb.
Yeah, guys, appreciate it, man. WagerWeb.eu. We have great cash bonuses, including weekly rebates on sports volume. So you take a 20 or a 10% cash bonus, we're going to give you 1% back every week on your sports volume. And hey, so players like that 100% cash, we offer that also. We offer a great live betting platform, a great customer service, a great payout 7 days a week. So, yeah, if you guys are interested in a highly rated book, we've been around over 20 years. Please give WagerWeb.eu a look. My name is Larry. You can reach me at the numbers are on the website, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys. And I appreciate you guys giving me the time.
Awesome, Larry. I can guarantee you'll be back on the show if you would like to come back on and hang out with both myself and Kyle. But fantastic stuff, Larry. Thanks again. Guys, Larry from WagerWeb. Check out the website. Quick, fast interface, great pass, and you see great bonuses as well. Larry, thanks again for your time.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.